Welcome back, folks. It's another Unexplained Mysteries Sunday. Only this time, we get a little bit closer to an explanation on one of the mysteries we've looked at. And I have got a whole load more woo as well. And of course, all of this before Bill Bean comes along. Hold on tight. I'll be with you in just a moment. There we go. That's some pretty crazy music again, right? I have got the craziest music here on YouTube. And it's all thanks to YouTube. It's in their own library. So if you've got anyone to blame, it would be them. So welcome back. Another day, another stream. And this time I take you a little bit closer to the woo that we've looked at before. We are going to be going inside Alistair Crowley's Dybbuk Box. Thanks to one of our listeners reaching out, and thanks to Anne checking the Facebook messages, something I'm terrible at, and that has taken us into another level of the Crowley Boleskine woo today. But before we get there, let me give a very special shout out to the Tin Biscuit podcast, and I'm assured that this gentleman's name is Spen. So Spen, I want to give a big shout out to you. And if people could head on over and check out the Tin Biscuit podcast, which is a brilliant name for a podcast, check out that YouTube channel, because that is one that we are going to be featuring here today on the show. And it's only thanks to their permission that I'm going to be able to show you what was inside that Dybbuk box. We spoke about it just last week, and we were kind of left scratching our head. Is it? Isn't it? And what was in it? Well, now, just wait till you see what mysteries this had to hold. And I don't know, I've got more questions than answers, so this could be really good. We're also going to take a little look at Underground UK. Yes, our version of the DUMBs, deep underground military bases, only not so secret ones. We have got a team in the UK trying to map out our underworld. So if First Paranormal is in the chat room, he'll be very keen to hear that, because he's one of these urban explorers. He goes underground in search of the woo. But before we get going today, let me just head into the chat room and give you a shout out. We've got Leslie Dickey. Big shout out to you, Leslie. We have got LB. Yes, it is woo time. Armand is in there. Sam. Ronald, good to see you. Mammoth. How's the new job going? I hope it's going well. Good to see you. We've got Ronald, John, Rick. Good to see you, buddy. The Tin Biscuit podcast. You know, I think I want to call it Biscuit Tin every time, because being a Celtic supporter, we had a Biscuit Tin mentality when it came to buying players. You couldn't get money out of the club, so we used to say it was stored away in the biscuit tin. So this Tin Biscuit is really confusing my head. But we've got Nacy in there. And talking of Nacy, I was really made up today. Check this out. Because he has been covered in the local media for his absolutely amazing mission that he went on. Remember, Nacy went on a 270-mile wheel across Minnesota to the capital? Well, it's now been covered in the media. This came out yesterday. So a big shout out to Kev. If you haven't checked this out, if you haven't checked Kevin out, it's Nacy. He comes on the show all the time. But it says here, if you happen to be driving Highway 10 in mid-September, on the 270-mile stretch of highway between Veterans Memorial Bridge in Moorhead, and the state capital in St. Paul, you may have seen a unique sight on the road's shoulder. A man in a wheelchair, guided by a recumbent bicycle, slowly heading east. That's our friend. That's Kev, who comes onto the show all the time. So a van led the way with a documentary crew, filming the whole thing. And if you looked closely, you'd notice the man's eyes were closed. And that's because he's our friend, Kevin Shores, a member of the White Earth Band and a Navy veteran who has now twice ridden his wheelchair across Minnesota to advocate for military veterans with Gulf War illness. And he happens to be blind. He's an inspiration to me. I don't call anyone a hero lightly, but if you're looking for one, it'd be that dude right there in the orange hoodie. If you're ever having a bad day and you're feeling down or feeling sorry for yourself, look to Kev. He is an inspiration to anyone out there. So big giggles to you, Nacy. I hope you're out there, brother. Let's get into this, shall we? So I've got to do another podcast today. I see Jojo in there. Of course, we've got our new memberships now, people in green. Most of our members are mods, so we don't see the green names. But I've added Anne Shu to the emojis. Yes, Anne Shu should be in there in your custom emojis right about now. Hopefully, if they've approved the shoe. Yes, they've approved the shoe. And there's also Bok, a blue chicken as well. So with that said, let's get into today's topic. Because maybe some of you will, maybe some of you won't remember that just the other day, we covered this story here. The Inverness Courier. Takes me back, This used to be our be-all and end-all. It would give you all the local news. It would be the only thing that gave you the local news. Apart from rumours and everyone knowing the news before the Courier had it. Anyway, it's the joys of living in a small place, right? But we covered this, and we looked at this box, and it's the strange case of a box that somebody bought online, and that somebody is in our chat room today. He is the Tin Biscuit podcast. His name is Spen, and just for people who might not have been here for that story, let me just read a couple of paragraphs of this before we take you inside the box. Yeah, it's one thing looking at the box, isn't it? But now we've got permission to look at this video and go inside the box. Now, unfortunately, Spen doesn't have Skype, or I would definitely have had him on here to talk about this just now. But I'm going to try and get him on the show some night this week or next week to talk about his experience, what's happened since he's got the box. Boots on the ground. Go to the people at the centre of the story. That's what we try and do here. It says, a carved wooden box may contain the secrets which unlock some of the mysteries of a notorious Highland home. Notorious? That's kind of downplaying it. So a man from Grimsby is appealing for information on the box, which it is claimed was found under the floorboards of Boleskine House. Now, the site, previously owned by the infamous occultist Aleister Crowley and Led Zeppelin guitarist Jimmy Page, overlooks Loch Ness, and it caught fire in 2015. And the previous owner of the carved wooden artifact said it was found under the floorboards of the building after the blaze. So Rick Spencer, Spen, big shout out to you, Spenny, bought the item from a seller on eBay, and he said, I do collect oddities and the strange and the weird. I've studied the paranormal for most of my life, but not so much witchcraft. The more I find out, the more points to it being real. So it says the box bears a hexagram, blah-de-blah. You see the box there, but I wouldn't have been back here today to cover this again without something new to bring to you, right? Right? So here we go. Here it is. And we are over on... There we go. Boom. Look at that. The Tin Biscuit Podcast. 664 subscribers. I absolutely insist you all head on over there and you subscribe to the Tin Biscuit Podcast. So, are we ready to watching? We're not going to be we will be watching, but are you ready to watch you ready to find out just what was in the Dybbuk box? And I'll explain what a Dybbuk box and everything else is in a moment. But I think we should hand over to the star of this story, and that is Spenny. And remember, check out this YouTube channel, 120 views. Come on, folks, we can definitely help this channel out. And if it's bringing us content like this, me likey. Now, I hadn't noticed this before. You see how it's like a circle of salt around it? Good call, my friend. Good call. Let's take a look at what's inside the Dybbuk box.
Hey YouTube, this is going to be the final video of the box really. As you can see, I'm not going to be opening it today, in a minute. The wax seal still as it was. Okay, so I don't know what's in this. So here we go, we're going to open the box.
Okay, right away. As soon as I seen this, when I got sent the video, I'm thinking, all of this needs to be burnt and sent back to hell. It's as simple as that. That there's creepy, even before he starts to lift out the box and everything else. My first initial thoughts seeing this is some kind of a golem. Some kind of almost avatar. Call it a voodoo doll, call it what you want. It might even at one time have played host to said Dybbuk that maybe Crowley was trying to conjure. Just saying. But it gets far, far, far more bizarre. Check this out.
So this is what's in the box. I'm very nervous. It's in a salt. So as you can see, there's that in there. I ain't got a clue what this is. We've got this, which looks like a dried, is it a dandelion? And this has been held down with wax. It's got 2 coins in it. It's got 1959 halfpenny. I ain't got a clue what that is. I'm quite bothered about it now because I wasn't sure what it was.
Spenny, I'm telling you, man, you're like another me. I'd be very bothered at that point. Very. But I still don't think it's got as bizarre as it's going to get yet. Oh, keep watching, folks. And algorithm, I am playing this with permission. I'm not stealing somebody's content like some of these YouTubers do. If they didn't have other people's content, they would have nothing to talk about. I truly appreciate the fact that Spenny is allowing us to play this here today. So I'm going to play it now, but Spenny has also put together 6 videos in a series, and it's over 1 hour long. But you can only watch that over on Spenny's channel, so please, please, please head on over there after today's stream and watch the series of events that Spenny put together. Now, I haven't had a chance to watch the longer version yet, but I certainly intend to. I'll be sharing it out, and we've got to help each other. Very small channel here. Let's give them a lift up, the same as we try to do with all the other channels. So, are we ready? And I'll shut up now. Here we go.
And it's got a coin in there of 1958. And now it's got this in it. Which is Bow Dover Bow. And it's got some sort of inscription there. If anyone knows what that is, tell me.
It looks to me like something written in Hebrew. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same name. Again, I'm totally guessing here. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the Hebrew name for whatever demon that is said to represent. And in this case, it said Baal Dover Baal. We'll check that out in a moment.
It seems to be burnt around the sides. There's nothing else in the box. So that's hanging off there, so that's been waxed in. Oh, I took that outside the circle. That's a 1959 halfpenny, ship halfpenny. As you can see.
You see, I'm wondering, these coins that are in there, there'll be no way of us finding out, but I am wondering if they might actually have been some item, again, I'm guessing here, but some item belonging to whoever that golem, that voodoo doll was maybe meant to represent. I don't know. I'm purely guessing here. The significance of the coins, for me, it could be a personal item. And if it is some kind of magical working, then that certainly could come into play. Now, it says there's a part after this video, peeps, to say what else it is and what people said it was, and help from one person. That helps me a lot. That's awesome. And of course, we've got the guy here as well, the Tin Biscuit Podcast. This is the guy who actually opened the box. And like I say, you'll be able to go over to that channel and see a far more comprehensive series of events. Like he says as well, you'll get to hear what people have written in. He's kind of looked into what these objects are. Really, really cool. Here we go. I'm going to keep playing this in. Here we go.
It did have a dried flower of some sort in. I don't know what that is. I'm sure it's a dandelion. And the other coin is, let's see if we can focus on that. 1958.
I mean, this is really well done, by the way. Look, how we can verify, or if we can ever verify where the box came from, who knows? But the way that you've put this video together, Tin, the way that you've documented it, from what I've seen, top notch, man. Top notch. This image here, well, let's see what you've got to say about this. This particularly disturbs me, this image, but that's just me.
So if anyone can tell me anything about that, and what the inscription is. What else have we got? And that. And then there's this. It seems to be held together by metal there, and metal here, metal there, metal there, and metal there. Now that looks like it's got some hair attached to it there, look. Can you see that?
Okay, if we're talking about human hair being involved in this as well, this is definitely meant to represent somebody. That this is definitely some kind of golem type object that's meant to be a representation of, dare I say it, somebody physical. We really don't know how many different things Crowley was doing at that house in the first place. Everyone talks about the Abramelin working. I talk about that 99% of the time. Who knows what he was actually doing there? Who knows what other spells he actually completed, you know? Actually managed to see through in the time he was there. Could this be something relating to that? Certainly looks like it's something relating to magic anyway, that's for sure. Could it be somebody totally just at it on the internet, on eBay, selling a box and pretending it's Crowley's? Of course they could. Of course they could. However, this is a bit of an elaborate kind of hoax to go to, I think. But my opinion doesn't matter here. It's what you believe. And more importantly, it's what Spenny believes he's got on his hands as well. And the person who owns the box is in the chat room. So, a poppet. He calls it a poppet. Oh. Okay, I'm going to play a bit more and I'm going to Google up, see what that says about that, okay? Here we go.
I don't know if we can get that in the camera, but that's got human hair there. So it starts from there and it goes all the way down to there. And then we've got that drawer in there with an inscription.
Okay, let me interrupt that for just a moment then to bring us up to speed with what this poppet's all about. This is very interesting indeed. In folk magic and witchcraft, a poppet, also known as a poppet, moppet, mommet, pippy, is a doll made to represent a person for casting spells on that person or to aid that person through magic. They are occasionally found lodged in chimneys. Now, these dolls may be fashioned from such materials as carved root, grain, or corn shafts, a fruit, paper, wax, a potato, clay, branches, or cloth. Cloth, yeah, stuffed with herbs, with the intent that any actions performed on the effigy will be transferred to the subject based on sympathetic magic. Now, puppets are also used as kitchen witch figures. Now, I don't think that one that we're looking at, this one here, I don't think it was ever intended to be used as in the kitchen for cooking or for ornamental purposes. I'm just saying, it's not the kind of feeling I get from it. So it says the word poppet is an older spelling of puppet, from Middle English poppet, meaning a small child or a doll. Now, in British English, it continues to hold this meaning, and poppet is usually a chiefly British term of endearment or diminutive referring to a young woman or girl among urban populaces, much like the words dear or sweetie, which probably aren't very politically correct nowadays. Get woke, Wikipedia, please. Come on, catch up. Let's see what else this has got to say. Now, we'll take a look for Bal Dovar in just a moment.
Inscription. So if anyone knows anything about this, let me know. I ain't got a clue. I don't know what any of it means. I've done it in a circle of salt. I don't know if that's going to do out. The box I keep it in is in a box, a hard case box.
Now, the Tin Biscuit Man, this is good info here. Because he says, a white witch got in contact with me after seeing this. I never said once it was Crowley. And again, Spenny, I'm only going by what we had here. This was the original story that we had. And whoever sold the box, I believe, was trying to say that it came. I'm not accusing you of making anything up, brother. Not at all. I'm just really grateful that we're getting to see any of this at all. So a white witch got in contact with the Tin Biscuit podcast. Try to read down, see what it says here. Part 6 explains the drawing. Now, if it's okay then, in a moment, we'll go and take a quick look at part 6. Just a quick look. So I don't want to kind of take attention away from your channel. Spenny, I want to get people over there to have a look at it themselves, to get subscribed. Let's just take a look at this. Let's just listen to this.
And that has got a Bible in it. So yeah, if anyone can know anything about this, as I say, it has got hair with it. It looks like it's got a bit of sellotape there or some sort of, let me just, to hold it together. But that's hair, and that's a person or some sort of figure that's been waxed on with a coin. 1959, and we've got another coin, which is, I'm sorry about the
Scotty
focusing.
Lopez in the chat room.
I'm like not speaking because I'm a bit dumbfounded by what I've just found with that figure there. That's 1958 halfpenny. The one was a 1959 with that and that. There's nothing else on the other side. Let's say it's got that inscription. I ain't got a clue what that means. So if anyone's got any ideas, please let me know. Well, that's it. I ain't faked it. I haven't made it. I've got all the messages from the seller and where it was found under the floorboards of...
And I have absolutely no doubts. Let me just put that out there right now. I've got no doubts that what Spenny is telling us here is genuine. People sell mystery boxes. There's people sell boxes online. You can go and check this out yourself. It's hit and a miss. I'm not for 1 minute saying that you've made anything up here, brother, at all. This is it's like Scott Lopez says. You know, whatever is behind this box, whoever has put this together, there's definitely some intent there. It's very, very interesting indeed. And of course, because of the original story, the whole mystery of a wooden box at the notorious Loch Ness home, that's what really captured my attention right away, because sure, we all know that I'm no stranger to Boleskine House, right? And just for anyone who might not have seen it before, I'm going to play a quick clip here of when I did go up to Boleskine. This will give you a taste, hopefully, folks, of just what it's like in there, or what it was like after the... I believe this was after the first fire. The second fire hadn't happened yet. Possibly it had. I'm trying to remember. No, I don't think it had. But here we go anyway. Take a look at this. So, and again, this is just to show what Boleskine House is like. I've always said there's something weird about the damage to the property itself. You're going to see that really clearly here, okay? You're going to see the damage from one part, and then you're going to see the other part of the building that we ended up doing a little bit of a paranormal investigation in. And oh boy, do I regret that. Do I regret that. Here we go. Check this out, folks. Look, perfect. Absolutely perfect, right? Boom. Burnt out. And then right next door, even the roof got it, but not there. And this bit here is the most active bit of the house. My lord. Back to the scary room. Right, come on, do something. Why on earth I start shouting things like that is beyond me, but I do. And shut the door, how dark that is in there, folks. That's what you call pitch black, right? And yet, it's broad daylight outside, and you can see when we go into that room. Watch for yourself. There's just one barely. It's so thin, the actual curtain. It's bizarre. My lord. Back to the scary room. Right, come on, do something. I mean, look, the light's even coming in through the curtains. But it ain't lighting no room. It's bizarre. And shut the door, Greg. Right then. If there's anyone there, make some kind of noise or talk to us or do something. Put the voice recorder on. So it wasn't long after that that things started to go a heck of a lot Pete Tong. Like really, 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 really creepy. Let me bring up the browser back here. So that's Crowley's house. We've been looking at this box, this Dybbuk box. And for anyone who doesn't know what a Dybbuk box is, a Dybbuk box is a wine box which is said to be haunted by a Dybbuk. And a Dybbuk is a restless, usually malicious spirit believed to be able to haunt and even possess the living. And the box gained notoriety when it was auctioned on eBay with an accompanying horror story written by Kevin Mannis and is the original inspiration for the 2012 film called The Possession. So if we come back over here, we're going to watch another minute of this. There's another little bit, but then Tin Biscuit, the Tin Biscuit podcast, I'll get it right eventually. He's given us permission to look at part 6, which actually explains a lot of what we're looking at here, okay?
The drawing room, which was room 6, or which is room 6, should I say, and which was the oratory. So, yeah.
And that was the room that you just kind of basically seen us in there. Crazy.
Yeah. So there's 2 coins. There's a figurine with hair, and there's a picture here. Bow, Dover, bow, and that. It could very well be a fake. I don't know. This is the first time I've opened it. I need you guys to help me. Be positive comments. Don't just say, oh, you've done this, you've done that, because I haven't. So, yeah. That's it. I will do some pictures. You can go to my Instagram. You can find my Instagram easy enough for a bit of a detailed look at them. But yeah, as I say, I'm just a bit... don't know. There we go.
The Dybbuk Box from Boleskine House opening. Please check out this channel, the Tin Biscuit podcast. What we see here now, videos. Okay, so part 4. Looking for part 6, I take it. Let's see this. Part 6, is that the main big long one there at the end? But part 4 there. The items inside, we'll try this one.
Hey YouTube, this is a video about the box. This is like, is it like the 5th part now? Or is it the 6th? Anyway, this is going to be the final part. Someone did say to me, why didn't you just do it in all one big part instead of doing it in small parts with all the information?
Okay, so just in case you didn't see it in the chat, the Tin Biscuit podcast has said this is the actual one we're looking for, okay?
Together. The reason I did it separately, because I wanted you guys to know what I knew at the time that I found out. So, that's it. A massive thank you to everyone who has been helping me with it and giving me some information. It's been much appreciated. Again, I didn't make this box at all. Okay, I've got nothing to do with this. I've got everything from the seller from eBay. Anyway, this video, I just wanted a quick look to show you more in depth about the items and a bit more about the box and just the stuff I found out, really. Again, I've been researching this for just about a month all over, or just around a month-ish now. Sorry, I'm just drinking my tea. So yeah, so it's all I've been really doing is researching the house, this, that and the other, and timelines in the book, so it's going to be nice to get this out of the way. And then I can concentrate on other things. So, let's just have a quick look at the box. You're all familiar with it, how the wax is falling off and that. Yeah, to do with the timelines, I will explain everything. A lot of people did mention the wax, and I think they were actually right about the age of the wax and that, but I will come to that because a few people have mentioned that also to me. So let's have a bit look at the Let's have another look at the items in the box. Okay, as you'll know, there's no circle of salt. No circle of salt. We don't need to like circles of salt. So
I don't know, Ten. I'd have still had the salt out. I think I'd have been covered head to toe in salt. I don't know what salt does, but I'd do it. There you go.
What we had was a doll that's made of wire. This is handmade. It's not bought. The reason why I don't think it's like bought, because you've still got the little spiky things there, and I would have thought no business on Etsy or anyone like that would leave things like that could hurt people. So it's made of armature wire or some sort of wire, maybe a coat hanger wire and that, and it's covered in, I would say it's sort of like Hessian sackcloth, and it's tied there round. It's got
I mean that to me looks like a
very
a
sweet,
stereo.
pungent smell to it.
Hang on, that looks like your stereotypical poppet that we were reading about not long ago, right? I mean, they've made the kind of the wire frame to kind of give it the shape, and then they've attached the Hessian sack, the material, to the frame. It looks exactly like what I think Spenny has claimed this to be, like a poppet, like what people have come and told them it is. Certainly doesn't look like anything you would buy. Not nowadays or back in the 50s when these coins came from. And I know somebody made a comment about the coins being too late for Crowley. Absolutely. Valid observation. I'm sure Spenny will address that in here. Like I've said to people as well, you only need to go up to Boleskine House to appreciate that to this day, right now, there's still people doing stuff up there. There's graffiti, which is dated down in one of the outhouses. It should be no surprise, no shock that whether it's white witches, occultists, whatever you want, whoever it is, somewhere like Boleskine House, it's like a major attraction, you would think. I'm guessing here, because I'm not an occultist, I'm not a white witch, I'm not a wizard, but that must be like one of the places, you know? Talk about a revered location to go to practice some of your, whatever your magic is. Not here to judge. It's not my role. Each to their own, free will and all that, but this is super interesting. I'm really keen to find out what they said about the picture.
Like the, a bit like a hippie candle again, but a bit like a cheap, strong perfume. The whole box smells itself. I assumed it was the polish, because the guy who found it originally in the fire 2015 did clean it up, and I assumed it was that, but looking in the box and smelling everything, it smells of the same thing. Someone did say what it could be, but I'm not too sure. I think it's petroleum, is it? I'm not too sure about that. So that's like a person made, and attached to it's a coin.
Just creepy.
Which is a ship halfpenny. The date is 1959, and then there is some human hair that you can see there. So it is quite long hair. Okay. Then I will put that there. Also in it is a dried flower. Now I always forget what these are. I don't think it's not a dandelion. What is it? Oh, I can't remember what it is. Let me have a look at my notes, because I have made notes.
I'd have gone for
Daisy.
dandelion.
And I have been informed these do actually grow this sort of daisy. I said it was a dandelion, didn't I? But it's a daisy apparently, and they do grow on the banks of Loch Ness. We have got another coin. The date is 1958, and this is a ship halfpenny. Okay. And then we had this drawing of what appears to be a demon. with bow, Dover bow. So I have been told it is Hebrew, and that can mean be careful, beware, look out, watch. And that is in Hebrew. Yeah, it is simple enough to do. Just a side note that if I was to make it, I would have used Latin. The edges are all burnt. There. Now, Baal is listed in the Greater and Lesser Keys of Solomon and the King by Alistair Crowley and Mathers. Again, I got that book to research just to see for myself. Now, when I originally opened it, I thought I recognised that picture from somewhere. And it's a copy of the demon from Sinister. So that made me think, is this a fake? A few people contacted me. And they came up with... Because I thought it's a fake, but what they said about the doll... I'll just get the doll. Is that it's a poppet. It's called a poppet, which is like a voodoo doll. And the hair attached to it is called a taglock. Now, when I pulled it all off, everything was attached to that. And I pulled it off. There's one theory, one person said that they probably put the hair and coin in when they did the wax and it got stuck. Or how to do a poppet, you can actually tag it to the doll, which becomes you or the person that you're trying to do something to or banish. So yeah, that does look a lot, well it is, it's nearly an exact replica of the demon from Sinister. So based on that, I looked at what year Sinister came out. That was 2012. So again, looking at that gives me 1340, gives a 3-year timeline.
And I love how you're going about this, Ben. I really do. You've not only put this out there, but you've let people come to you. You've kind of crowdsourced the research into this. Really, really enjoying this logical kind of breakdown of what you've got here. Because whatever it is you've received, this is something very, very intriguing indeed. Very intriguing.
Now, in that timeline, the place was owned by Dutch owners. No one knows much about them. I can't find much on them. And they used it as a holiday home. So I had a few people contact me, all the way from it's a fake, you did it, which I haven't done it because I've kept you guys up to date all like along, guys and girls. I've kept you up to date with it.
And I just want to second that. And if you go back and check the first video that I done on this as well, the only thing I questioned was the person selling it. Not you yourself, but whether that was genuine, what the story they had attached to it. And like you say, you've got all the stuff there from eBay. I'm not even questioning you on that, Spenny. Not even. I never got the inkling that you yourself had kind of faked this up. Really, really, really weird. I'm really hoping we can get a talk with each other during the week on the Kev Baker show. I'll reach out to your friend on Facebook later. We've got another show later today with Bill Bean, obviously. Not finished yet. I'm not going away just yet. But yeah, I'd definitely love to talk to you more about this and some of the other stuff that you've been looking into. Some of the other maybe mystery boxes that you've got your hands on. But let's see what else you've got to say about this. My bad. I apologise. I'll stop buttoning.
I should get it professionally seen to chuck it away, to bury it and let it rot into with the earth. I have been conversing with one person, and a massive shout out because they know who they are. Well, two people really, and they know who they are. And thanks for putting up with all my questions and trying to understand that. I still don't fully understand it now. Bearing in mind, they've come from two different sections of witchcraft. One from, say, White Witch to the other one to the occult. I have studied the paranormal for most of my life, but this sort of thing never really looked into, so which is strange, but now I have, and it's okay. So this is what I got today. The puppet, which is the person with the tag lock with the hair, is of someone who performed the ritual using their own hair. The coins are to pay the ferryman to take the demon back to where it came from. The flower was from the grounds of the house, probably to invoke or maybe an offering to Aleister Crowley. Now this is where it gets a bit strange for me. The drawing is to summon the demon and take ownership of it. The Seal of Solomon, right, I want to be very careful with that because that's falling apart. So the Seal of Solomon is that, which is the 6-pointed star. The Seal of Solomon on top of the box is to tell it to go back. Now, the Seal of Solomon is what King Solomon had on his ring, and that was used to command spirits, demons, and apparently talk to animals. The wax on the box is to seal the demon inside. Well, obviously, it's probably not now. It's probably gone. Right, so the purpose of the ritual was to summon the demon, bind them, claim ownership of the demon, and remove their negative influences from the house by sending them back to the underworld.
So, again, speculation here. Many people have owned that house since Aleister Crowley. Could we be looking at somebody's attempt to send whatever the hell it is he dragged out of the pits of hell back there again? Now, I don't know if anyone can take control over a demon like Baal. You know, take command and control over it. Good luck with that. Good luck. But could this be somebody's attempt to take whatever the hell was still roaming about there and send it back to the fiery place? Could be. Speculation. I don't know.
Okay. So, the demon in... The demon in the film Sinister was called Bugal. Is it? Bugal? And the origin is actually based on an ancient deity named Moloch. I'm probably decimating all these pronunciations.
Oh, we know Moloch well in these parts. Yes, indeed. Scotty Lopez out there as well. Yes, we often talk of that one. Yes, indeed.
It's called Moloch, and sacrifices to Moloch by the people of Israel were to burn children. Then he consumes the souls of the children and can travel into the human realm via images of himself. Baal, which is there, a black-hearted demon masquerading as a god. Baal was the title of horrific meaning of owner or lord. Baal Dover, should I say, which means demon. The red wax across the drawing is to bind the demon and claim ownership over it. So, that's one theory with... Oh, this wax falling off everywhere. Alright, I'm going to put everything back. So, one theory is, looking at the hair, I'm no hair expert, but I'd say that's maybe a girl's hair or a woman's hair. So, my guessing is... it could be a spell against someone or for someone. Could it be to possess someone that's attached that tag lock to them and then attached it to the demon? The coins are for the ferryman, and that's an offering. Now, because I've said later on it was a homage to Aleister Crowley, which if you look there, it has got AC. You can just see it, AC carved in.
Ah, yeah.
So that would tie in with what were people saying with the wax, and I think there was a bit of confusion over the timeline with the guy who saw the box, and I think I got confused with the timelines there. I think because I was in so much deep into it, the timelines, and then that I think I got confused. So that would make sense with the wax. There is a really, as I said before, a pungent smell inside it. It's pungent in the way it's that, you know, like the cheap perfume aftershave stuff you can get from Superdrug. It smells like a hippie scent, sort of joss stick smell. So, a theory is, another person said...
Oh, we're getting another theory, and when we hear this one, I'm going to encourage you all to check out the actual channel. even though we've got Tin Biscuit here with us, I still don't feel comfortable playing so much of somebody else's content. This is some great work you've done here, brother. I hope we can get you on the show to talk about this more. Let's hear this next theory then into what people have come to the biscuit, the Tin Biscuit, and said. Let's hear.
Could it be the people who bought this? Was they trying to clear up what Aleister Crowley did?
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking maybe there's a bit of that going on. Trying and send whatever the hell it was back to hell.
Abrem Ellen ritual, where he summoned all the demons, and obviously he got called back. If you want to know a bit more, go back to my other videos, because I do talk about that, where he's got to summon his guardian angel, but to do that he's got to summon the 12 kings and dukes of hell. So could he have left it there, went to Paris with Mathers, but could have the people tried to put right what he did with Baal, because Baal is actually mentioned in here, and it would be connected to Moloch, but the drawing was the one off Sinister, which makes me believe it was probably a teenager, early 20s, maybe a girl or a boy with long hair, a boy with long hair, or a girl. It does look fine hair, so that's why I'm saying that it could be a girl. Could it be a horror fan and an Aleister Crowley fan? Obviously, they knew the lore of the house when they got it, so that would make sense with the AC. The timelines with the age of the wax would fit. Other people have said you've probably got confused with the timelines, and it does seem to fit with that. The coins may have been found in the house. The coins have been said to pay the ferryman to take the spirit to the underworld. The dates of the coin as well could have some relevance to the people who did it. The coins are made of bronze. Again, bronze is mentioned in this. So is that why they did it? The coins could have easily been found in the house, or just from a coin collection, because they were quite common coins. The drawing, as we've said, it is in Hebrew. Now, if I was to fake anything, I would have done it in Latin. I didn't even know it was Hebrew, because I asked for everyone, and you could tell when I was opening it, I was nervous, I was shaky, I was a bit...
And I know for a fact there's going to be so many people out there that put spin in their targets. They're going to accuse them of all sorts, from faking it, to hyping it, to doing this with it, that with it. That's par for the course online these days, I'm afraid. And all you can do is, because you know where you got it, is just keep doing your thing. Keep talking about it, and don't let these people slow you down. Why fight a fight that you know where you got it from? Now, where it came from, the original person that sold it, that's an entirely separate issue. I'm with Scott Lopez on this. Scotty, I'm with you. There's been a lot of time and energy put into this, a lot of intent. There certainly seems to be something magical at the heart of whatever is going on here, no matter where this box came from. If we can prove it came from Crowley's, all the better. But even aside from that, whatever this box is, it is some deep Dybbuk woo. And it just, for me, increases the mystery, increases the crazy coming to us from Boleskine House. I'll be back in a moment to hear what you people have to say about this in the chat room. Thank you very, very much, Tin Biscuit Podcast. If we go to the channel here, I'll get you the link so you can go and subscribe right now, folks. Not now, right now. Please, please, please show this YouTuber some support. Very gracious in allowing us to play so much of his content here today. When I get off today's show with Bill Bean, I'm going to be taking a look at some more of the content that Spen has been putting together, because it looks like he's been doing a lot of good stuff on here. So, yeah, check it out, folks. Check it out. And I will be back in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. Dybbuk boxes, spirits, witches, white magic. I don't know. What a perfect way to warm up for warrior mode. And I'll be starting in just under an hour's time over on the KBS 1 channel, and it'll be archived over on Bill Bean's channel. But let me get a quick drink of coffee, and then I will be back with you. We'll talk about what we just looked at, and we'll see if we've got time to go underground. Oh, yeah. You know, this music just doesn't cut it. It just doesn't cut it. It doesn't, but this will. There we go. There we go. There we go. So let me come into the chat room, see what people are saying here. The seller got it from a friend that went to assess the damage in the first fire in 2015. It was found under the drawing room floorboards. That's highly plausible. The drawing room, or room 6, as Boleskine Foundation call it, was Crowley's oratory. Now, I've got a bit of a kind of a bit of debate with that, with the way that the whole Boleskine Foundation are numbering the rooms, etc. I'm gonna have to check into that, because they claim one room was the oratory, but I actually suspect it was another room. Doesn't matter two hoots about what we've been talking about today. Either way, very interesting. Now, bear in mind, I've been talking to the Sleep over a month, and he's not changed his story. Yeah, talking to the Sleep, must be the seller. I would say that's the seller. Autotype's probably gone in. The drawing room floorboards were up in that room too. You see, I've got various pictures of Boleskine here. We'll find a couple. Let me see. Where are we? Yep. Let's see. Not it. Yeah, they're on the laptop. I'll put money on them being on the laptop just to prove me wrong. I think they're on the laptop. Bummer. One more folder. Let me try in here. No. Because that's the thing with that Boleskine house. You've got one part of it, or you did have one part of it that was decimated. But then there was like a cut-off point. And then there was the other part. That Boleskine Foundation, I mean, what do you make of them? Tin Podcast or Tin Biscuit Podcast? I got my suspicions about them, I must admit. He says that's a door in the drawing that was out in as it faces north, which is one reason why Alistair got it. Yeah, exactly. The other room that faces north is the one that wasn't damaged as well. They're on the front of the house, the north facing kind of windows. And that was a big part of the magic. Boleskine House haven't been helpful. And the owner is a massive Crowley fan. He's wrote a book on him. Keith Reddy. And these are the people that claim that they're nothing to do with Alistair Crowley. They're just interested in the history, the heritage, restoring it to its Edwardian glory. Yeah, right, if you believe that. The drawing room was pretty bad. See, this is where the thing is, because the drawing room was pretty bad. And the question comes whether the drawing room was his oratory or whether it was the bedroom. Because the bedroom, it wasn't too bad at all. It's all bad now. It's all been torn down now. Not very forthcoming, said the Tin Biscuit Podcast. I bet they weren't. The fact that they've tried to claim that nobody can fly drones over the property is laughable. We barely have trespassing laws in Scotland. You can walk where you like, basically. So how they intend to like impose a no-fly zone for drones over their property is beyond me. Also, the 2015 fire hasn't got a cause. What caused it? Absolutely. You're talking to a dude that's from up that way, man. Still no explanation for that. I would imagine, to be honest with you, it was either A, the people that bought it and are doing it up, or B, it was just people in there probably doing a seance, probably trying to look for ghosts, probably got drunk. The reason I'm saying that is because you can tell the property's been used for that kind of thing when we were in it after the first fire. It's certainly not been deserted before it was on fire. There's been people going there. There's been previous owners as well. How it started, I would love to know. It was inside another box, an oak box under the floorboards. Listen, it's like we says, wherever this box has come from, it is imbued with woo. It is absolutely filled with woo, whether it came from that location or not. I'm willing to believe it did. But in the end of the day, like I say, somebody's put a lot of time into this. Somebody knows what they're doing. This isn't somebody that's throwing something together, or else other people couldn't have come along and give you such a good explanation for it. The people who have reached out and helped you, find out what the poppet was, what it could have been used for, things like that. If this was just thrown together, it wouldn't have any of that, right? If it's a hoax, it's a pretty elaborate one. I'm not going to ask what you paid for the box. That's your business. It's nothing to do with us here. Very, very good woo indeed, my friend. Keep up the good work, Tin Biscuit Podcast. And yeah, I'm going to be checking out your full video probably tomorrow. Very, very interesting, folks. Remember, go and actually subscribe to Tin Biscuit Podcast. I'm really bad at actually getting that out there, right? Tin Biscuit Podcast. That's it. So, we have got Luna saying the energy in that box has travelled to the chat room. Surely not. Group hugs, I'm scared anyway. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Being scared is the sensation of courage leaving your body. That's what it is. Just ignore it. It's all good. So listen, that was pretty interesting. Let's take a look at one more story today before I let you get back to it and before we head on over and get Bill. This time, after I play a little couple of tunes, get a little drink of my coffee, get my breath back. We're going underground. Deep underground. Deep underground military bases in the UK. Only they're not secret. They're pretty public now. There we go. There we go. I'm not going to read through all of this story. It's quite long, it's quite comprehensive, but gives you an idea. I mean, living in the UK, tales of the underworld, you know, they're never far away. And in Scotland, we've got like an underground city in Edinburgh. Very haunted, very paranormal, very paranormally active, sorry. But here we're dealing with Britain's mysterious underground tunnels that have been a source of fascination for decades. Yet until recently, authorities have remained conspicuously secretive about them. And this ties in with your whole kind of continuity of government type things. If ever there was anything drastic happening during the Cold War, this is where the government would have made sure they're okay. No room for any of us folks. No, that they'd have been okay. That's why they kept them secret, so that it was for them, and we wouldn't have been able to get down there if we needed to. But it says here, in 2017, newly published land registry data revealed 4 million kilometres. That's 4 million kilometres of networks and telecommunication lines underneath London. That's London alone, folks. Many of which were secretly constructed by the Post Office, British Telecom, and the Ministry of Defence. Who we've ever had to defend ourselves from is beyond me. That should be the Ministry of Offence, right? If they were being honest. So these mysterious Cold War era tunnel systems and underground chambers, which number in the hundreds, have been a source of fascination for decades. Yet, until recently, authorities remained conspicuously secretive about them. Many owned by the Military of Defence and never publicly acknowledged. Now, the most intriguing revelation was of the Postmaster General's secret tunnel beneath the heart of the government at 57 Whitehall. It was built to protect machinery and communications from the threat of A-bombs in the Cold War, and the bunker emerges into the basement of the old War Office, once used by Winston Churchill. Now, in 2014, the Raffles hotel chain bought the 54,000 square mile Grade 2 listed building from the Ministry of Defence for cheap, 350 million. Named the OWO, the London landmark is set to open as one of the world's highest profile hotels in 2022. I don't know if I'd be going there. I don't know if I'd be paying the money they're going to be looking for. It doesn't really smack me as being much of a hotel room, that, right? So it says more than 30 gears and a dozen lifts, stretching from the working class East End to the heart of Whitehall, connect the Postmaster General's tunnel to a secret underground network which mostly emerges unobtrusively into government buildings and telephone exchanges. Further, a short distance from Whitehall, a A-bomb-proof telephone exchange deep underneath High Holborn Street, originally built as a deep-level government air raid shelter in the early 1940s, was a top-secret hub for more than 200 engineers from the 1960s to the 80s, and the two-tunnel shelter was extended by the addition of 4 tunnels at right angles to the originals to become the termination point of the first transatlantic telephone cable, and was spacious enough to boast a staff restaurant, tea bar, games room, and licensed bar. Now, its bar claimed to be the deepest in the UK, located approximately 60 metres below street level under Chancery Lane tube station. See if there's any more pictures here of these bases. But yeah, there's an entrance to kind of one of them there. Edinburgh, we've got extensive underground stuff there. Now, this isn't the type of deep underground military bases that we think of when we hear DUMS. Typically, we think of the rumoured bigger ones over in the US. How many of them there are, I don't know. I would imagine that the UK has still got some that is secret that we don't know about. It's common sense. There's obviously going to be bunkers and things like that for continuity of government in times of war, in times of crisis. Do I think Bojo's going to be heading off to the bunker anytime soon with what's going on? Probably not. But it's still very interesting as to what's down there. It says here, we're applying for some funding to start trying to map it in Nottingham and Edinburgh, 2 other cities with great rich histories of underground cities. And what we want to do is to explore not just the physical, but the social interactions with those physical uses as well. And it says more than ever there is increased public interest and in the UK and elsewhere to unearth the secrets, both literally and metaphorically, that have so long been hidden under our feet. But they were genuinely national security secrets at some point, said Anna Powell-Smith, founder of the Centre for Public Data of the Secret Tunnels. And she goes on to say, and then they were moribund and simply have never been mapped on any public project because there was never seen to be any need for them to do so. So rumours abound that Westminster Tube Station was only built after government had rejected a lot of routes without explanation, presumably because the existence of a network of covert tunnels that connected government buildings in the area, as it was later discovered. So in a high surveillance, highly watched city like London, the underground becomes a place to bury secrets. As you place your foot on a paving stone in London, you are literally walking above hundreds of miles of tunnels and passageways and ducts and sewage pipes and chambers and secret places that most people have absolutely no idea are there, said Ovenden. And such as the escape tunnels rumoured to have been built into places or into various tube lines, including the Jubilee line, for the royal family to escape Buckingham Palace were it ever to be raided. Is it true? One day it will all come to light, Ovenden said. But for now, it's yet another unseen and unknown secret that rests secure beneath London's busy streets. You know, that one there about the royal family, I'd never even thought about that. But that's a no-brainer as well, right? They must have contingency plans to get them out of there if anyone makes their way into the reptilian lair. I mean, Buckingham Palace, right? And I mean, come on, I can't think of a better load of rats to be running about in tunnels making their escape than that lot down in Buckingham. That's all I've got to say about it. But very, very cool, very interesting. It's another Sunday Unexplained Mysteries. Today we had one explained, though. We'd covered this earlier on last week. Thanks to my mum and Kenny, they'd both sent me this story, remember? I think they're both watching now. Mystery of the Wooden Box at Notorious Loch Ness Home. And of course, thanks to Tin Biscuit Podcast, Spenny as I've been calling him, probably doesn't even get called Spenny. I would like to think we've expanded on the mystery of the Dybbuk Box from Boleskine House. As opposed to clearing up the mystery, I think we're left with more questions than answers, and that probably means I've done a good job. Because that's the inverse effect of going down the rabbit hole. The further you go down, you don't get closer to the truth. It looks like it, but all you get left with is more mysteries, more questions, and not enough answers. And that's why I'll be back time and time again to keep providing you with unexplained mysteries, woo, madness, craziness, funniness, not to in any way influence your thinking on any of these topics, merely to encourage you to think for yourself. Because like I say on here all the time, I provide, you decide, and I'll be back in just over half an hour over on KBS 1 with Bill Bean and Lon Strickler for today's special on ghosts, phantoms, monsters, and a whole lot more. Big shout out to the Tin Biscuit Podcast. Please subscribe to that channel. I'm out of here, but after one thing, keep your mind open. Keep looking for the woo, but not to the point where your brain turns to black goo.